What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another episode of Career Mode. This is episode number 8, and we start today's episode off with a game against Manchester United here at the Hawthorns for the second time this season. Of course, we already faced United. We faced them in a game in the Capital One Cup, and unfortunately for us, we lost that game on penalties after we conceded a 120th minute equaliser for United. But of course, in the last episode, you would have seen that our striker, Brown O'Day, best player of the season so far, got a serious injury against Liverpool and unfortunately will not be playing until December at the very earliest. So I decided to switch the formation and go over 4-5-1 and have Berahino starting up top as a lone striker. Now I don't really want to do that personally, but Anachabi and Samaras, not really the type of strikers I particularly want to partner with Berahino, because I just don't think they'll work together. So that's why I thought I'd go over 4-5-1, try and crowd out the midfield a little bit more. And of course Claudio Jacob, who was injured during pre-season, he's back and he's fighting fit. So I thought if I could have him and Malumbu as holding midfielders together, maybe we'd stop leaking so many goals. Of course, we conceded 3 at Anfield, and we have been leaking a lot of goals since the start of the season. So hopefully having a 4-5-1, 2 holding mids could help us a little bit. But this will be Thursday afternoon for you guys. I'm going to upload another episode of Career Mode later on tonight. So there's no like target. There will be another episode later on tonight. So if you don't leave a like and you show your appreciation, that's very much appreciated myself. But there will be another episode of Career Mode tonight. So yeah, there you go. But still, we do take on Manchester United, and the first chance before here in the 9th minute is Daley Blind keeps holding the ball and gives it to Michael Carrick. And in this game I found it unbelievably difficult to get the ball off Manchester United. Now of course I know I'm playing this game on Legendary, and the AI on Legendary have just the most accurate passing style you'll ever see, and so it is very frustrating to get the ball off them because it rarely ever happens. And it's not a real surprise that this long passing play, which I actually had to cut out for a little bit otherwise it would have been too long, ended up resulting in a goal. Wayne Rooney got it. The cross in by Chris Smalling wasn't really dealt with. It was Nastasic and Chambers, I think, who seemed to go for the ball together, and unfortunately they seemed to get in each other's way, and it ended up being a simple finish for Wayne Rooney. So Rooney scored there in the 11th minute, and I talked about wanting to have a tighter defence, and this 4-5-1 helping us stop leaking so many goals, and that's exactly the opposite of what happened there. So United do take the lead in the 24th minute. Well, Sado Berahino, who's going to have to go into some good form right now if we need to get some points, because he is going to be the lone striker. The pressure's going to be on him. Missed a golden opportunity to make it 1-1, but he did score a few minutes later in the 30th minute. A great cross in by Sessegnon across the floor, and Berahino, well, he couldn't miss that one. The first chance you just saw there for him was, not exactly easy, but, it wasn't the most difficult, and he should have scored, really. But let's be honest, if he would have missed this one, I would have subbed him off for Anachabi right away, because that was a very simple finish there. He's 4 yards out, great ball by Sessegnon across the floor, and it was a simple finish for Berahino in the centre. So, Sado Berahino puts it past Lindegaard, who always starts ahead of De Gea on Korea, and I don't understand why. He puts it past Lindegaard and makes it 1 apiece. So he gets his second goal in the Barclays Premier League, and of course he is going to have to start performing now, He hasn't exactly had a bad start to the season, but I expected a bit more from my young striker, and so far he hasn't really delivered yet. So hopefully he's going to perform a little bit better, and that goal could mark the start of a very good piece of run of form. So 1-1 here, and directly from kickoff, Luke Shaw collects the ball for Manchester United down this right hand side. Shaw ends up playing the ball inside towards Daley Blind, and Blind finds Di Maria. Di Maria finds Van Persie, who picks out his Dutch colleague, who hits the post, and then it falls to Di Maria, who also hits the post. So the post struck in a couple of seconds there. First Daley Blind, and then Angel Di Maria hits the post as well, and it's still West Brom 1, United 1. And as you can see, the complete opposite of what I wanted to happen was happening in this game, as Carrick flashes this shot wide and out for a goal kick. I wanted a tight defence, a really solid defensive display, and every single time United came forward in the first half they looked like scoring, and in this rate they look like they could score 3 or 4 by half time, because as Rooney finds Van Persie here, he chips it over the goalkeeper, but it's headed away by Nastasic, I think it was, to keep the score at 1-1. He said the ball crossing the line, so it was still 1-1 at half time, and I could barely understand how, because the reality was it wasn't good defending, as another chance goes begging for United here, this time through Van Persie. It was the fact United were just completely terrible in front of goal. They really were. The fact they'd already scored one through Wayne Rooney was a mystery, because I kept giving them chance after chance. You know, my defending was that bad. I was basically handing them opportunities to score on a plate, and they just weren't taking them. And in the 59th minute, another great chance here, a cross into the far post. Falcao has a free header, and he puts it wide and out for a goal kick. And thankfully for us, the game did finish like that. Nothing really happened in the final half an hour, and we did hang on for a very credible 1-1 draw. But the reality was, that point, sometimes you'll hear a manager say, "Oh, it was a hard-fought point. We deserved that draw." We didn't deserve a draw in that game at all. We deserved to get battered, and the fact it finished 1-1 was a mystery to us. So don't get me wrong, I'm pleased we didn't lose, but I've got to be honest, that was a huge let-off for us, and to get a draw against United is very, very good for us, particularly after playing so poorly. I mean, that was just a mystery how we got it, but we did. So 1-1 the final score, and we also saw after that we had an international management offer from Romania, and also that Danny Ings is coming back from injury. We also got one of our players back on loan from Notts County, but he's like 55 overall, so he won't get played or anything. And also India asked us if we would want to manage our nation, so starting to get some international management offers now. Obviously I'm not really that fussed about Romania and India, no offence to those nations, I'm not particularly keen on managing them, but it's good to see we are getting some international offers. Of course, for anyone who's been on my channel long enough, you'll know I've always wanted the England job, but they've never come in for us, so hopefully this time. But yeah, it would be nice to manage internationally in the first season, but we'll have to wait and see. I'm not getting my hopes up for a good nation regardless for quite some time, but we'll have to wait and see what happens there. And the second and final game of this episode is against Crystal Palace here at the Hawthorns, and of course taking on Crystal Palace, after that 1-1 draw against United, I was hoping for a little bit better here against Palace, but Palace under Neil Warnock have been doing alright this season. As you can see, 8 games in, 12 points, the exact same as us, so just 1 place behind us right now. And in real life they're on a 4-game unbeaten run, I think it is, with Neil Warnock, so they're doing okay, Crystal Palace, right now. And that's why I wasn't really taking this game as a formality. I knew it could be quite a difficult game for us, particularly after such a poor display against Manchester United, yet we still somehow got a point in that game, and of course the very poor display away at Anfield. And as you can see by Palace's side, they do have some very decent players in there. A player I really do rate is Yannick Bolasie. I think he's a very decent player, and obviously some strength on the bench as well in Jason Puncheon, and also Dwight Gale as well. So some decent firepower Palace have, some decent players. And the first chance this game would fall in the 5th minute as Chris Brunt collects the ball for us and gives it to Jordan Abita. Abita finds Will Hughes getting a start here ahead of Claudio Yacob, who I didn't think had a very good game against United. Anyway, the ball comes to Callum Chambers down this right hand side here. He picks out Varela. Varela plays it back to Callum Chambers. Lovely passing move. Chambers ends up fizzing a cross in, and Sessegnon finds the back of the net to make it West Brom 1, Crystal Palace 0, 8 minutes in. And that was a really nice goal, passing from back to front, and Chambers getting another assist. He's already picked up a couple of assists this season at right back. Callum Chambers looking like a very inspired signing on loan. Picks out Sessegnon in the centre, and he picks out the back of the net. So West Brom 1, Palace 0, and I'm very pleased to take the lead so early on in this game. But 10 minutes later, Palace had a free kick. Marouane Chamakh, the former Arsenal man, chips it into the centre, and that man, Yannick Bolasie, does make it 1 apiece. So I praised him before the game. I said he is a decent player in real life and clearly on the game as well. Bolasie heads in this Chamakh free kick and makes it West Brom 1, Palace 1. So frustrating to concede and lose our lead just 10 minutes after we took it. And a few minutes later, Jedinak collects the ball and plays that wide towards Barry Bannon. The former Aston Villa man gets onto the ball, crosses the ball in, and Joe Ledley makes it 2-1 to Crystal Palace. So in just 3 minutes we've gone from being 1-0 up to 2-1 down. Ledley gets the goal, and unfortunately for us we are behind here as they celebrate in front of the West Brom crowd. Very, very frustrating there. It was a really simple goal for Palace, let's just say that. I was going to be a bit too critical of my defence, I guess I should be really, but it was such a simple goal for them really, so easy for them to score, and my defence is exploited again. So 2-1 to Palace here, and in the 33rd minute you see Campbell get on the ball for them. Fraser Campbell turns around Joleon Lescott and strikes it, but thankfully for us, Ben Foster is equal to the shot and puts it behind for a corner. So still 2-1 as things stood, but just for half time a good chance here again as Chamakh collects the ball after this challenge, but fortunately for us, play would actually get stopped here because Palace are on a good counter-attack, and Sessegnon ends up getting injured, and unfortunately for us he is going to be out for a couple of months as well. So Brown today has a friend in the treatment room now. Sessegnon gets an injury, didn't actually know who to bring on here, ended up bringing on Anachabi and eventually switched to a 4-4-2 at half time, but Anachabi came off of Sessegnon, and that is a huge blow for us because he has indeed broken his ankle. He will be out for 3 months I think it is, and it's such a huge blow because Brown today's he was our best player of the season until he got injured. And Sessegnon's been up there as well. He's been really good for us too, and of course he did score in this game. So unfortunately for us, Sessegnon going to be out for 3 months. Really does suck. And Palace almost made us pay in a 45th minute. Fraser Campbell exploiting our weak back line again, but he put his shot wide, and it was still 2-1. So miraculously we were still in this game, and in the 54th minute we would indeed get ourselves the equalising goal through Victor Anichebe, who came off the bench for Sessegnon, who got injured, and made it West Brom 2, Palace 2. So very good finish by the big man there. He makes it 2-2, and that was a really good finish. As the ball was played forward into him, I just stopped the ball there, sort of held down the L1 button, tried to trigger the defender to making a challenge. He didn't, but I still managed to curl it around the body who was trying to block it, and it goes into the far corner as we make it West Brom 2, Palace 2. So great finish by Anichebe, and of course he scored a brilliant goal against United in the Capital One Cup, that screamer, many weeks ago now. And you know, I've never really been too convinced by Anichebe as a striker, but to be honest, I've never used him on FIFA, and I guess I should give him a bit more of a go, to be honest, because he does possess great physical strength and he's a good finisher of the ball. So West Brom 2, Palace 2, but in the 57th minute Palace would make it 3-2 and get themselves back in front. And what a huge mistake it was by me with Chris Brunt. I tried to pass the ball out from the back, as I always do. I hate hoofing the ball forward. I try and pass it out, tried to pick out Will Hughes, instead picked out a Palace man. Eventually worked the ball into the centre, and Fraser Campbell scored to make it 3-2 to the visitors. So Palace back in front in this game for the second time, and you know, my defending in this game was just absolutely atrocious. You know, after switching to a 4-5-1, I was hoping I'd be a lot more tighter. Instead, I was just all over the place, and you saw Anichebe have a good strike there, but again, the goalkeeper makes a good save and keeps it at 3-2. So Palace doing everything they could to hold on to a good 3 points here. And in the 73rd minute, Marouane Chamakh finds Fraser Campbell, who was causing me problems all through this game. He spreads it out wide towards Barry Bannon, another player who was on course for man of the match at this stage. He crossed the ball in, it's flicked on by Joe Ledley, and Ben Foster almost got caught out by the looping header there, but just about managed to tip it behind for a corner. So good save by Ben Foster, and with 2 minutes to go we want a corner ourselves, and because I was on all out attacking, Ben Foster ended up coming forward for this corner. It's our last chance to try and get ourselves a point in this game. So you see Ben Foster just sprinting into the box, must have been out of breath by the time he got here. Foster, our goalkeeper, gets forward for this corner, and with Varela I decided to try and crowd the goalkeeper with the new set piece tactics you can use on this game, the default set piece tactics. I crossed the ball in, but I realised that Ben Foster had a free header, so I picked him out. Foster won the header, but unfortunately he showed why he's a goalkeeper and not a striker, because the header was so weak and it went straight into the gloves of Julian Speroni, who kicked the ball forward real quickly, tried to catch out Ben Foster, but it came straight to Will Hughes, who picked out Matej Nastasic. Nastasic found Varela down his left hand side, takes on the former Liverpool man Martin Kelly, beats him, gets inside, Varela shoots and scores as well. So in stoppage time, with virtually the last kick of the game, the Portuguese winger on loan gets the goal and makes it West Brom 3, Crystal Palace 3, as he just smashes the ball into the near post. It was a bit of hit and hope from me, really. I just thought I'd just lever it into the near post, see if I can catch the goalkeeper out, and I did. So West Brom 3, Crystal Palace 3, Varela with a stoppage time equaliser to get what I believe is also his first goal of the season, and I'm absolutely relieved, because losing this game would have been unacceptable, but thankfully we did just about bail a point out in the dying seconds. So as always guys, a big thank you for watching the video. I really hope you have enjoyed it. If you have enjoyed the episode, then please do leave a like, and I'll see you for another episode of Career Mode later on tonight.